Talk with Mo. Glad you joined me. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Check me out on the Lou and Mo podcast. Also, check me out www.cblifestyleapparel.com. Got some cblifestyleapparel.com. I got some new products coming out. Like I said, like, subscribe, share. There's the only place you're gonna get the real talk from real people. No agenda, no bias. I'm not trying to push nothing on you that ain't just common sense, or when you get to thinking about it, ain't just, the real. So I want to talk about something, everything going on, a lot of things going on in the world. It's May. There's a Buffalo shooter that went in and shot 10 people. They said he was racially motivated. I don't know about politically wise, but they said it was racially motivated when they shot some people. They were all, one race. I think they were all black, from what I've heard. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know all the details. I didn't really look into it that much. Also, another church shooting in, I think, in Sacramento. That was something that was going on. So there's a lot going on. And my thing is, I hear the pundits and people talking about it. Most of the time, like I said, these people with agendas, they got something to push. They got a narrative to push, something to, it's going to keep them, their base, the people that listen to them, listening to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to push them away. It's going to keep them there. Like, oh, you think the same way I think, that type of bullshit. So, one thing that always, kind of bugs me, and people are not just, and the thing is, people aren't honest, man. You're not straight up. You're not keeping it 100. You're not keeping it, all the way real. It's like when we talk about influence, right? Because somehow, when it fits your agenda or fits your narrative, influence is powerful, right? Powerful enough to get somebody to go and do something that they wouldn't normally do, right? And this influence could come from all sorts of ways. Like, I talk a lot, or I've had conversations a lot about, how I think, like, rap, hip-hop, certain types, certain genres some people listen to, can influence kids to go and do things that they normally wouldn't do, that their parents wouldn't approve of, right? But, that being in a certain neighborhood, with that influence, right? School, you got other kids around you that influence you, right? So all these different influences causes people to go and do things, right? And I talk about this, sometimes, and most of the time I was talking about the rap, and I've had the conversations and gotten the, deep conversations with people, and they were like, no, that's not true, like, that doesn't happen, you know what I mean? And then they'll blame it on poverty, right? They'll blame it on being poor, coming up in poverty and this and that. And the crazy thing is, I don't want to jump off subject, but let me finish this and then we'll get into that. But, they say it's influence, right? I say it's influence, they say no, right? But then when something happens like this Buffalo shooting guy, right? They go to these different things. Like, I've heard one pundit talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, right? The fact that he was able to, do what he did and get away. First of all, like, they're just totally two different type of scenarios, right? Way different. Like, totally not even close, right? One, Kyle Rittenhouse was going there, from what he said and from what, I guess the court, agreed with, is that he was going there to protect somebody's property, and then he got into it and ended up shooting somebody. Another part of that is he killed 2 white people, right? He didn't even shoot at no black people, and no black people didn't get injured from him, right? So that's another thing. And then the other thing is, he was claiming self-defense, which somebody was attacking him, and he ended up shooting him, and that's why he got acquitted for what he did, right? So, but people say that there was a guy with MSNBC or one of them shows where he said that he was influenced by, like, a Kyle Rittenhouse. Like, he could see how that could be. Yeah, that was influence. So he influenced. So this guy was looking, he seen Kyle Rittenhouse do it. He's like, I'm going to go shoot up. And RIP to those people that died. You know what I mean? That's a crazy thing, crazy situation to be involved into. But, so that's nothing to do with the situation at hand. I'm just talking about the way people see it and the way they try to, move it around to make it fit their narrative. So, you know what I mean? But, like, he went in there, you know what I mean? And they were saying like, oh, he could have been influenced by that. So it's crazy to me, like I said, about the influence thing, how sometimes, influence is not that big when it's a situation that you don't want to talk about, or a situation that you don't, want to come to terms with, or even like take for an example, right? You didn't even say maybe, like maybe it could be, right? They don't even say that. They say no way, right? That's not true. There's no way, right? It's not that. It's something else, right? So, and it's like, you can't have it both ways, man. I said this before about, just everything, man. Everything has pros and cons. Everything has good and bad, right? It's involved in everything, every situation, every answer you have is not going to help everybody. So you can't have it both ways in this situation either, where you say influence is not influence, and then influence is influence for you. It doesn't make sense to me, right? Because if you're saying influence is important, is a thing that could do that, then it's all influence, right? Then everybody can be influenced, everybody can be pushed to a brink from influence, right? That's what you're saying. And like I said, I somewhat agree with that. But the problem is, you talk to people that are on the other side, and they won't even acknowledge that. Like, I acknowledge it, right? It could be, right? That's one thing. But I hate the people that are saying it, and they won't acknowledge the other influences that shit people have, right? Like, you know what I mean? And again, to be honest with you, I don't even believe totally in the influence. I think it's a small part of it. Right? Even when I talk about direction, I think it's a small part, but I think it is a part of it. Right? I think people that go and do shit are just, just those type of people. Right? I don't know the exact traits of them. I don't know the exact traits of a shooter or somebody that's a killer, whatever. You know what I mean? If you did psychological tests on him, you probably could tell me, he's whatever you call it. You know how you diagnose somebody and tell them that they're this type of person, and they're an A trait and a B trait and a B type and all that. You could do all that and probably figure out what most of them are. But what I'm saying is, so if you, like, for this guy to take this step and go in there and shoot, there's something not clicking in his brain, right? Something not clicking. He ain't all that, right? Because for you to go and take a life and then not worry about, going to prison, dying, getting killed, right? You have to be pushing a break, because there's a place I can get pushed to, but it would have to involve you, somebody hurting my wife or my son, and that place I would go to, I don't really know, where it would go after that, but I know, I'm just thinking about it makes me upset, right? So I know if it had happened and I know about it, and I know, then I would get pushed to that thing. So for you to go and do shit like that, you have to be like, your brain is not clicking, right? It's not thinking. It's not like, something ain't right. Right? You just don't wake up one day and do that type of shit. So, and they already said that they were following him and all this. And, about the whole case and everything, I hope, he goes to jail for life. I know they ain't even I'm not a fan of the death penalty. I'd rather somebody sit in jail and die in jail for something like that. For me, you know what I mean? And, I think that's more suffering than just taking their life, right away. For me, right? If you did that, you took somebody else's life, I think you should just suffer for the rest of your life. So, he should go to jail for life. No parole, no nothing, right? You just go to jail, put him in, I don't know, confinement for his whole life. So I'm not playing it down. I'm just saying the way people think about things is we listen, and then that's why we get upset. We get angry, because they're like, oh, well, this happened and this and this and this. And it's like, bro, like, I was looking at videos today I posted on Twitter, and there was shit happening all week. Like, people were dying, like, left and right. Like, 2 people shot here in North Carolina. That was an older video, but North Carolina, there was a school shooting. The kid just came in there and chased somebody down, started shooting them. And then there was another one at a bar in, what the hell was that? It was probably in the Midwest or whatever, at a bar, and they started shooting and ended up killing somebody and shit like that. So this stuff is like, man, people die every day, man. Like, it's a crazy world. There's crazy people, right? People that are willing to take it there. But it has nothing to do with, so at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with, like, most of the time it's just a single person, like a crazy person, right? It's not like, they are always attributed to shit, but it's not like that. And then you gotta look at each one the same. But if you see a lot of them and they're in the same category, you can't just put them all in the same category. Like, you can't put Kyle Rittenhouse and this kid in the same category. Not even the same, not even close. That's what's crazy to me. But then again, like I said, my whole purpose is talking about influence. We talking about influence, so you can't have it both ways. You can't say there's influence on this side, but there ain't no influence on that side. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. And that's really what, what I wanted to talk about in this video was, influence. If you're saying it's important, then it's important either way, right? If it's going against you or with you, we say influence is part of like kids growing up and having 2-parent households and all, and that's influence. All that's influence. So it has importance in people's lives. So you can't play it down when it's something that that you just don't agree with or you don't think is real. You can't play it down. At least acknowledge it. You know what I mean? And I hate when I heard some pundit talking about that, so it kind of bothers me. But anyways, check me out, Real Talk with Mo. Only place you gonna get the real. See you on the next one.